Hi, this is Michael Becker, and welcome to this morning's installment of mCordis Mobile Insights. And with me today is the CEO of Mowingo, Daniel Dreymann. And Daniel, I'm really excited. You and I met on a plane coming back from CES the other day, or reconnected, and you were talking a little bit about what Mowingo's going on in the marketplace for you, new insights that you're seeing, and was really happy you accepted our invitation to talk to us and our community today. So first and foremost, can you go ahead and give us an explanation as to who Mowingo is and who do you serve, and what contributions are you making to the market?
Perfect. Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Michael. Mowingo is in the mobile engagement space. We have a platform that we developed over the last 5 years, based in Silicon Valley, and we also have an office in Boston. And the kind of services that the platform provides is a way for retailers to engage their customers over branded apps. We can either interface an existing retailer's app to our platform. In other cases, we are commissioned to also develop the app itself. Our technology works for various verticals in retail. One well-documented case study is the work that we did for McDonald's that went through several phases. But we now have an excess of 7 million people connecting to our platform on a daily basis through the McDonald's relationship. But we have other clients outside of food as well that benefit from the same type of interactions.
So let's pause there real quick. So before we get too far into the conversation, can you explain what is mobile engagement and what does that mean specifically within an app context?
So absolutely. We are all about engaging people in order to bring them to the store more often, to brick and mortar physical stores. So we're no expert at all in m-commerce. We're not trying to sell widgets over a mobile application. What applications that are powered by our platform do is they engage people when they're away from the store, near the store, inside the store, and when they leave the store. So from the get-go, our applications and the platform supported geolocation. Originally, 5 years ago when we launched, it was all GPS-based and the cell tower triangulation and what have you. So we had the gross estimate of where people location were. And in the last couple of years, with the introduction of beacons, obviously we have a much better accuracy of the location of those retailers' customers, including their location within a store. So, for example, in a drive-through environment, we can know whether a customer is in the drive-through or at the counter and provide them with a different experience. Maybe at the drive-through, we want to get them out of the lane as fast as possible. When they are inside the store at the counter, we want to upsell them with additional devices. We do things such as offering a dessert to somebody who's been in the store for more than X minutes, assuming that by now they've finished their lunch already. Or we can guide in a department store a customer that we noticed their entrance to the store and they are not yet at the department where we know they have an affinity for, let's say, men's shoes, something like that. If we can say, okay, if 20 minutes after entering the store, they're still not at the department, let's say the men's shoes department, we can guide them to there with a push notification, with an offer, with a coupon. Obviously, there are other layers of gamifications and other that you can use in engagement, but at the core of it, those are notifications that are based on time and location.
I see. So engagement really is about finding the most opportune time to initiate or deliver some form of message to somebody.
As personalized as possible, yes.
And does that engagement always happen through push notifications, or can you do it cross-channel, such as an email or an SMS or tailor content in a website?
So we do those things, typically in partnership with other technology vendors working for the retailers. I think that one of the most enticing development in late 2015 and in early 2016 is retargeting from the physical world to mobile and vice versa. So retargeting from the physical world to online is when we detect through the application that a certain customer visited the store, and maybe she even went to the fitting room. But we also know, because the loyalty card is linked to the application, that that same customer left the store without a purchase. We provide this information to the retailer, and using other channels, they can pop up banner ads on website that that person would visit. They can email her, thanking her for a visit, and trying to get, the business back, either by having visit another store or by making a purchase online.
So, for example, Facebook audience retargeting. If I know the email and I have the relationship, I can go and potentially be retargeting that individual or like individuals through Facebook channels.
Yes, but with a twist here, which is that the original input to that algorithm is a physical visit to a store. So something that the person didn't do online, but actually visited physically a store, left without a purchase, and now we're going to use all those algorithms, emails and Facebook and whatever banner ads we can put in front of her to rekindle the interest and make sure that she eventually becomes a customer.
Well, fantastic. So let's take a step back then. So I've heard some really exciting things that you've brought up. So you're a technology platform that helps either develop applications for companies, and or if they already have an application, you can integrate your engagement and communications capabilities into those applications to stimulate interactions with people. Likewise, you can integrate with other capabilities within the marketing technology stack to be able to do email, SMS, and other types of cross-pollination programs. But if the core of what your program's doing is allowing people to develop business insight of the physical behavior of people in and around a particular retail environment, and then trigger communications with them. And would that be a good summary of what I just heard?
That was a very eloquent way of putting together, what I was clumsily saying. But yes, absolutely,
no, fantastic.
Right on the money.
So if I now understand that that's what we're doing, and the benefit from what I've heard you just talk about, using the McDonald's case, is that over a handful of years, they've actually been able to start engaging nearly 7 million people through this means. They've been able to generate insight about the individual's behavior. They've been able to initiate communication with that person, increase flow through in drive-through, increase upsell when they're in the store, even post-purchase. So it's not like you're giving me that ad when I'm buying the hamburger right then and there. I can actually finish lunch, and then based on some predictive rules, you can then say, okay, they're probably about finishing lunch, so let's send them that coupon and suggested dessert, because we know they didn't buy a dessert for their original lunch. So it's that. So from a marketer's perspective, I get it. It's creating insight, it's creating efficiencies in the flow of customers, and it's creating potential upsell opportunities. What's the benefit to the consumer, the end person receiving the message, and then more importantly, how do you make sure that message is not considered to be spammy or intrusive or annoying?
Well, there are two aspects to that. The first it's all opt-in based, right? So the people that are getting those messages are people that decided to download the retailer's app, that decided to opt in for geolocation services, that accepted push notifications. And it's a certain hurdle. If you do it in a naive way, you will not get enough opt-ins. However, if you make very clear the exchange of value that you have between the brand and the customer, you see very high opt-in rates. I'm familiar with a certain fashion brand targeting young women that got above 90% of the customer base opting in to all those things above. So the push notifications, the location services. What they used is FOMO, fear of missing out, saying, you can use our app without giving us those permissions, but then your girlfriends are going to get all the best deals, and you're going, to be left with, what regular customers get and not VIPs.
Can you let us know who the brand is, or is that secret?
I cannot talk about that. Okay. It's their own approach. But they have about 600 stores in the US, so it's a fairly large brand with a strong approach on FOMO, on this fear of missing out. McDonald's, on the other hand, is using more of, we want to be good for you. We want to give you stuff in return for your loyalty. The call to action for downloading the app makes very clear that there's a welcome offer. That the very first thing that you're going to do to get when you download the app is a free sandwich. Like, who's going to say no to a Big Mac? So there are different approaches of a combination of advantages and benefits that are available only in the app. The feeling that you're treated as a VIP, that you're going to be the first to know about a new product, a new collection that's going to be unveiled, etc. And we have to remember that apps are being downloaded only by that sliver of customer, which is the most loyal group of customers for a brand. So they already have an affinity, they already like the brand. There's the Pareto rule, right? So maybe they're only 20% of the customer base, but that generates 80% of the revenue. Therefore, you need to treat them well, and you need to treat them with respect. The other side of it is the personalization. Not everybody gets the same thing, right? So based on declared preferences, where they have settings in the app where they can say, I'm really interested about offers on that topic. I'm not at all interested in other things. And then also by measured behavior, where we see what they do, what day parts of the day they go to the store, etc. We can target the message. We can talk differently to somebody who is at 10 different McDonald's over the span of a month, knowing that he's probably a traveling salesperson. We should send him, hey, on the road again, how about a Big Mac? Versus a person who visits the same McDonald's every single day, where we say, hey, your local McDonald's now has the McRibs. So those are, again, McDonald's examples of different communication to different people based on their needs and their behavior. So I think that the exchange of value is increasingly clear to customers. They give away some privacy. They give away, they let you communicate to them. They let you push notifications to them. But in return, they get services, discounts, products that their peers don't. So they like it.
Okay, that's fantastic and really interesting. So, what else are you seeing in the market, and how is so this idea of engaging people through beacons? I don't want to say it's overly mature. I mean, it's just getting started, but we've heard about it for a while. Is there any new insight that you're seeing in the market that is in particularly exciting you, or something that you're looking forward to developing in the next, say, year or two?
Absolutely. In reality, we beacons are fantastic, and just the business intelligence side of it, let alone the ability to engage people at the right time, provide a tremendous value. Beacons allow brick and mortar retailers to apply the same tactics that online retailers have been using forever. However, working in the market, we identified two major pain points, two major showstoppers that kind of prevent beacons from being as pervasive as they should be, and to be adopted by virtually everybody in retail. And the two pain points are as follows. One is maintenance and management. So beacons are not a mature technology. It started to be adopted when Apple pushed the iBeacon protocol. But then every retailer who installed beacons that supported the iBeacon protocol, when Google announced a few months back that they would support beacons too with the Eddystone protocol, had to scramble and send technicians in the field to go and update all the beacons in hundreds and thousands of stores. This is not manageable. No other technology in store requires the dispatch of technicians whenever you need to update a little piece of software. So that's the first major hurdle for adoption of beacons. The other one is connectivity in the stores. So only about a quarter of retail stores in the US have Wi-Fi in them, and even if they have Wi-Fi, it doesn't necessarily mean that the customer joins the Wi-Fi network. And when you're deep inside, a mall, oftentimes you don't have connectivity. So maybe your phone sees the beacon, but there's no way for the phone to connect to the internet and to tell the retailer that Michael is now in front of the TV department at the Best Buy. Now, fortunately, those two pain points are addressed by another company here in Silicon Valley, Beaconics, who just came out at CES with what they call cloud-connected beacons. And the idea here is that every beacon works just as a beacon, but is somehow connected back to the internet, to the cloud, with a technology called mesh Bluetooth, in which every beacon talks to its neighbors, and eventually there's one item, one device that's in the back of the office connected to the internet. And using this technology, we can now provide our customers a service that allows them to update the software on the beacons remotely. So whenever they need to update the beacons, be it the content of what the beacons are transmitting, a new firmware version, instead of sending technicians to every single store and spending time in the store updating the beacons, all they have to do is to sit in their office, press a button, and voila, all the beacons, throughout the network are updated. So that's a tremendous benefit. The other one is those beacons are bidirectional. So if you are with a phone and your phone detects a beacon, but your phone is not connected, there's no strong Verizon signal or AT&T or whoever network provider is, using the Beaconics beacons, we can transmit, you can backhaul this information from the smartphone all the way back to the cloud and take an action and even send a push notification. So you can go inside the store, be effectively disconnected from the internet, and still the retailer will know exactly where you are in the store and will be able to communicate with you using the Bluetooth mesh as a backbone to carry this communication. So basically those two major pain points that we've seen in 2015 that have held back the adoption of beacons are now being solved with Beaconics. And we just finished our integration with Beaconics. So the Mowingo platform supports those beacons completely. And we're very excited about that. We think it's a game changer.
That's absolutely wonderful. So we're kind of running out of time. So let me ask you this last question. So where does a marketer start? So if they like this idea and they understand this concept of engagement and what we'll call kind of automated individual communications, that when a person or a particular event or behavior is being manifested by an individual and that individual is opted in for the program, that would entail and enable the ability for the marketer to initiate and automatically initiate individualized communications or engagement with that individual. So how does a marketer start? Do they give you a call? I mean, obviously that's the soft softball sales pitch there. But if they want to be learning more about this idea of automated individual communications, automated individual engagement, what are the key pieces that they need to focus on and get started with?
Well, the first thing that they can do is to send their staff to mCordis to get updated on all the latest technologies and the latest scenarios of engagement. That's my softball to you. But once they are convinced, they understand what are the options. One of the issues is it may be overwhelming. So there are so many things that they can do. So together, and everybody in the industry as a role here, in the consulting side, being able to decide what are the key metrics that they're going to measure, what are the KPIs for such a project. And once they do that, we typically ask them to create a roadmap. We help them create a roadmap, which we call walk, run, fly. We don't like the crawling so much, so we start by walking. There's immediate ROI, typically within 6 weeks from launching an application that's integrated on our platform. They can see a positive ROI just using the low-hanging fruit of the most simple beacon-based interactions. Once they are there are a bunch of additional integrations that can help lift the ROI. Integrating with the point of sale, integrating with their existing CRM systems so that we can do this retargeting that is not just mobile in a silo, but allows insights gained from mobile to help them retarget that person over Facebook, over the web, by email, etc. Closing the loop in the other direction. So, for example, there's a department store who's cutting us files about online purchases of customers in the last 24 hours. we treat those people differently when they're in the vicinity of the store than customers who did not purchase something the night before. So all those things are advanced. You don't need to start there. Our recommendation would again to have limited goals for the first few months. But as you learn more about your customers, add more level of engagements, add levels of gamifications to keep their interest. And the worst thing, obviously, is to just launch an application and let your people drive, your customers, without enticing content. So that's another thing to consider when you launch this type of engagement. But it's an expertise that we got over the years, and working with the industry. I think give us a call.
Fantastic. And you talked about results. So what kind of results can people see? So if the average baseline of an ad banner or social media retargeted push is somewhere in that sub 1% to the amazing 3% engagement rate, email sometimes you'll see somewhere between 3 to 7 to even as high as 15. What kind of engagement rates are you seeing in this model? And how is that? Is there a measure of sales uplift? I mean, what kind of results can be marketers expecting?
So absolutely, we measure all those things, and we see really good results. I'll give you an example, kind of near your question. One of the things that we do a lot for McDonald's are sports-based promotions. So you would go to the baseball field and the announcer would say, hey, download the McDonald's app, and if we score 6, you're going to get free McNuggets. Whenever the Washington Nationals, which is one of the teams with whom McDonald's partnered, whenever they score 6 points, you have tens of thousands of people rushing to McDonald's stores to get the free nuggets. Now, nuggets are not a full meal, so they obviously buy more stuff. This is proprietary information. Cannot tell you what's the uplift in sales, but it's tremendously effective because it's very targeted. It's for the fans of a given team. They like it. There's a positive association. So beyond the numbers, there's a positive association between my local team won, I'm going to McDonald's. And again, that's just an example. Typically, offers that are triggered based by beacons. And now I'm talking within mobile. So if you compare an offer that's just pushed to somebody randomly, at a given time of the day, versus an offer that's triggered by proximity of beacons, the redemption rate can be 6 or 8 times higher when it's triggered by a beacon. And we're starting from a baseline which is already higher than email and any other medium. So this stuff actually works really, really well, unless you start abusing it. So if you start sending push notifications, every hour of the day, people are just going to tune out and turn you off. Our recommendation for most cases, and again, it varies from one brand to another, is to send no more than 2 push notifications per week for a customer, and 2 more push notifications per visit to a store, irrespective of what the marketing calendar says for the other weekly push notifications. If you don't go beyond that, then most people stay with you, and it's extremely effective.
Now, that's appropriate for like a retail and promotional environment. However, if you have an application that is encouraging multiple engagement and use in events in a particular day, you could have an experience or an opportunity where receiving multiple notifications in a particular day is encouraged and welcome. So, for example, I've been doing a lot of exercise lately, and I've been playing with the MyFitnessPal food diary from Under Armour. Mm-hmm. And if I miss recording my food for lunch and dinner, I'll get a notification to remind me to do it for lunch. I'll get a notification to remind me to do it for dinner, and I actually welcome that. So there are, it really, I would think, depends on the nature of the app and the relationship you're building with your customer. No?
Absolutely. My comment was really limited to a retail environment. Perfect. And not to a specific use case like yours. I have a good friend who's one of the developers for MyFitnessPal. So
well, tell him I love it.
Know that you like the push notifications he's sending your way. But there are other cases like conferences, right? In conferences, you don't want to miss, let's say, presentations that you marked up on your mobile calendar as interesting to you, yes, you absolutely want to get push notifications that the session is about to start, etc. And you might get 10 of those during a long day at a conference. There's nothing wrong about it. What I'm saying is that typically for a customer staying at home, being away from the store, reminding them about the store, again, in a retail environment, more than twice a week is probably overdoing it. It's probably too much. We also recommend this frequency to be something that can be set by every individual recipient. So one recipient will say, no, whenever you have whatever type of promotion, I want to know about it. I'm not annoyed by any number of push notifications. Go ahead and serve him the way that he or she wants to do that. But as a baseline, before people change the defaults, that our recommendation stands for retailers: 2 a week and 2 per visits.
Fantastic. And one last question. So you mentioned that this idea of notifications is all tied in with the app, which is tied to your most loyal customers. What about everybody else? What about the other 90 to 80% of the customers? Does an automated individual communications or engagement service apply to them as well? And does Mowingo supporting that other part of the customer base?
Absolutely, in 2 ways. First of all, there's always the option of people opting in on SMS and getting a coupon that's being pushed to their wallet. What used to be Apple Passbook and now Apple Wallet, and Google always called it the Google Wallet. So that's something that we have always been doing. But there's another very interesting development in the beacon world, and that's Google's push for the physical web. The physical web is Google's view of beacons that are interacting with people who did not download an app. Their first implementation is really just for geeks because it involves using Chrome on an iPhone and setting up all kinds of widgets. And we're talking about a very limited capability or a very limited reach in terms of people who actually do that. But the next version of Android will have this beacon capability built in.
So is that I refer to this as push notifications for the web browser?
Yes, but triggered by beacons.
Yes.
And those beacons will actually transmit to you some kind of header saying, so typically beacons, the iBeacons is just a number and you rely on an app to translate it, to say, okay, I've just seen beacon 56. It's up to the app to say, wow, that's the beacon installed in that department store next to the lingerie department. In the physical web, the beacon actually transmits information that's understandable by the browser and understandable by the user without any other intermediation. Here again, I think that we're going to use the Beaconics beacons because they are capable of changing the URL remotely. So the same beacon installed in the store can one day send a coupon, for 10% off on shoes, and the day after, the same beacon can, at the entrance of a department store, can say, buy a t-shirt, get one free. Again, without an application, totally visible by the consumer, maybe on their lock screen on Android, so it's not really a push notification, but it's available right there as they take the phone out of their purse. So the physical web, and again, it's no secret that Google is always pushing for solutions that are not app-based, while Apple's view is there's an app for that. So it's no surprise that the physical web is a Google initiative and not an Apple initiative. But Mowingo is located in Los Altos. We're at the same distance from Mountain View and from Cupertino. So we play on both fields, with equal ease, I would say.
So, and also too, maybe you can help me connect some dots here. So you mentioned the Beatronics concept too. So if I have limited phone connectivity, I'm in a retail store, maybe my Wi-Fi is not working, I have no cellular connection, but obviously my beacon capabilities are still working through the Bluetooth channel on the device. Because of the way your software works, beacons powered by Beatronics can actually continue to initiate and deliver that coupon or deliver that offer even without having a network connection.
That's correct.
I want to make sure that the people that happen to listen to this really understand that insight, because that's game-changing.
It is game-changing. The idea for the physical web is it's not just a URL, but there could be a JavaScript communication happening between the Bluetooth device which is not necessarily a beacon, but in our case, it's a Beaconics beacon, and a smartphone. So a smartphone that has no other connectivity beside connectivity to Bluetooth to the beacon in the store can recognize the fact that the beacon is there. And if the consumer initiates the connection, so basically, yes, I'm interested in that coupon, the coupon can actually be transmitted over Bluetooth directly from the beacon inside the wallet, and then can be redeemed at the point of sale without any internet connectivity. And that's indeed a game changer.
Absolutely fantastic. And unfortunately, we're running out of time. So again, my name is Michael Becker. You've just been listening to Daniel Dreymann from Mowingo. And I want to thank you very much for joining us today. And we want to definitely be inviting you back in a couple of months when you can share with us some additional insights and results that people are getting from your services. And I hope you don't mind if we invite you back.
We'd love to do that. And thank you so much for having me.
Wonderful. Thank you.